Okay, so we've got the Double Magrav Arizona experiment set up, and I'm going to take you through what we've done. We were in Rome last week and we tried to set this up, this Double Magrav setup. But it wouldn't work, so we thought maybe that was because it was working at 50 Hertz instead of 60 Hertz. So we've got this new setup to run it at 60 Hertz. So we're coming off a 12-volt battery through a pure sine wave inverter. That will allow up to 700 watts of load. And then we're going to be monitoring the power on this plug-in power monitor. We're also going to be monitoring the power using a current probe, which is a Fluke, and also a voltage monitor. This is a differential probe, which means there's no grounding to interfere in the system. And we're going to be measuring the power on the oscilloscope. So channel 1 is going to be the voltage, channel 2 is the current, and then the channel 1 frequency is the frequency of the voltage, and then the math mean in red is actually going to be the power. So that's going to be the power being delivered from this inverter to our system. So we come from the system, we come just to a normal extension cable, and then we've got the Double Magrav system, where the live of this side connects into the neutral of this side, and vice versa. So the neutral from here will connect to the live from here. We haven't used the earth at all, but you can see quite clearly that our live and neutral connect together in one. And yeah, do you want to hold it? There we go. So it's pretty clear. And then it's the mirror image on the other side as we come to here. Okay, and then we go. Keep it horizontal always. Yeah. And then we come to the output, and this is very simply a way of just switching off and on. So we're going to start with an LED bulb. Now, I should say the inverter is actually going to give us 110 volts and at 60 Hertz, and you'll see that in a moment. We're not going to put a load on yet, we're just going to see what the voltage looks like. So there's no load on at the moment, and 110 volts at 60 Hertz, and this is the waveform, 110 volts, which is 60 Hertz. So now we'll put on the LED. So 60 Hertz, 110 volts, 0.12 amps, 9.4 watts, power factor of 0.68. These are the waveforms. So 109, 110 volts, 0.125 amps, 60 Hertz, power about 9.5 watts. Now what we're actually going to do now is we're going to plug this bulb in directly into the inverter without the Magrav setup, and just show that as a comparison. So if you unplug that, we'll take the Magrav out completely, and we're going to go straight in. So the power it's pulling now, it was 9.5 watts before. Got 110 volts. Come on. There we are. 0.12 amps. It's the same current draw. 8.8, 8.7 watts, and that's shown also here. 8.7, 8.8 watts. So actually from the mains, it's at, well, I say the mains, without the Magrav unit in place, it's actually pulling a little bit less power, we're not seeing the effect at the moment. Next we're going to plug from, we're going to put it back in the, oh actually we just put a incandescent bulb in now.
Okay, so
so we'll put in maybe two lots of 60 watts.
Okay, without the Magrav?
Without the Magrav to start, just to get a reference. So these are actually 110 volt bulbs, and they're 60 watts.
Mm-hmm.
There we are, and you can hear the system starting to draw a bit more. So it's got the fan going. We've got something's beeping, but it's pulling 100 and, oh dear, we got overheat. Hold on. Okay, so we had overheat on 2 bulbs, so we're just going to put 1 bulb in and turn it on. There we are. So that's 150 watt, 160 watt, 110 volt bulb, incandescent, and it's pulling 110 volts, 0.48 amps, 52.7 watts. And the oscilloscope is very similar, 52 watts. So now we're going to plug that through the Magrav system. So that's now going through the Magrav, and it's pulling more or less the same, 52 watts. So again, we don't see any difference at all with or without the Magrav, hardly anything. It's 52, 53 watts. So we're not seeing the effect. We're not seeing the effect that was seen in Arizona.
Film that this is a hybrid, we think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, worth saying. So we've got...
This is a January 2016.
January 2016 this was purchased.
This is June. It arrived, and this is June.
And this was June, so well, none of them say hybrid on, but
no, the casing's different. Here.
Casing's slightly different. So we're not sure whether we're using the same units or not. I've seen some units which say hybrid on them, so it may be a little bit different. Okay, and one last test is we'll just we'll just put the 10 watt LED in with the 50 watt 60 watt bulb, so that's pulling 61 watts through the Magrav. And then if we go directly into that's now pulling 60.5. So something is different between our setup and the Arizona setup, and possibly with Thomas's German setup. So all information and ideas are welcome. Thank you all.